Thank you, Mr. President, and my full apologies for not being on parade. It's quite unlike me. I do apologise for it, and thank you for your courtesy. Interesting, is it not? One of the great political questions in the United Kingdom, when it comes to discussion of the euro, is cock-up or conspiracy. Is it a cock-up or was it a conspiracy? And we're still arguing about that in the pubs of England. We're not quite sure. It must be completely obvious to anybody with even the remotest bit of economic understanding that this common currency was doomed to failure from the outset if it wasn't accompanied by fiscal policy. It must have fiscal policy to have one currency and one interest rate. It comes with the package. It must be part of the same phenomenon. Now, the conspiracy theorists say, they knew that this would happen, they knew that this would collapse, they knew that this would bring grief to many countries unfortunate enough and stupid enough to be part of this common currency. And what will happen is, when it collapses, when it catches fire, when it all goes wrong, they can then they being the conspirators, push through an undemocratic system of government on people whether they like it or not. And I think this is the first part of it. This is what we're looking at with this document. This is what we're looking at with this document. It's the first bit of an undemocratic procedure so we can cut ordinary voters, members of the electorate, out of the system.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. This colleague would like to ask a question of Mr. Bloom. Mr. Bloom, will you accept a question from our colleague? You have the floor.
Thank you, President. You said at the start of your intervention that the EMU will fail if there is no fiscal policy and closer incentives for cooperation. I'm sure that's the case. But shouldn't we now welcome the fact that we are creating the systems to coordinate economic policy and when we're looking for more common European approaches? Couldn't you just honestly say that now we're on the right route? As regards a lack of democracy, we shouldn't set national parliaments and the European Parliament against each other. We need both bodies to create democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom.
Well, yes, you see, it depends on your perspective, really, doesn't it? I would argue that there is no remit for a common fiscal policy. It hasn't been put to the people, either in a referendum or any political way that I can see, certainly not in the United Kingdom. As you know, in the United Kingdom, we have been promised but denied, in reality, a referendum now for many years. So I can only speak for the United Kingdom, and I would argue that there is no democratic remit for this, and therefore you cannot push it through a common fiscal policy. If you ask the people on the streets of Rome or Madrid or Lisbon or Athens, I think you'll get your answer.
Senor Bloom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bloom.